Well, hello, everyone. Welcome back to Outside the Cinema. Your weekly source for cult movie discussion for now over 16 years. We are in our 17th season currently. This is the first episode. Well, it's technically the second episode of the 17th year of OTC. But, yeah, welcome back. Thanks for coming back and hanging out. Good to have you.
Yeah.
What do you think,
mostly,
Chris? You agree?
Yeah. I don't know everybody personally, but yeah, for the most part, I think, yeah.
I think at this point I know every single one of our listeners.
All 7 of them.
No, there's still, I mean, we talked about it a little bit last week with the anniversary show. Like, the show obviously is not what it once was in terms of listenership because it's just impossible to garner a listenership like that in this day and age.
Yeah, because I don't talk about taking ketamine. So, what are we going to do? Oh, just, certain podcasters seem to take ketamine and just...
Oh, is that a Joe Rogan thing?
It might be. I don't listen to it.
It might be.
Last time I saw him was on news radio, I wish I could say.
You never watch Fear Factor?
Mm-mm.
Oh.
I don't want to watch dumb people eating bugs.
That's true. That's true.
Being told to by a dumb guy.
Anyway, yeah, we did our anniversary show last week. Favorite 6 and bottom 6 films that we reviewed last year, and we're starting off hot and heavy with a couple classics for this season. These are Patreon picks from Ollie. We'll get into that momentarily, but I did have a couple of things I wanted to read, a couple of messages that we got. One of them is from Ollie, so we will have 2 messages from Ollie because I'm going to read his anniversary congratulations, and then also his suggestions for us and why he chose them. So Ollie's been a listener to the show for quite a while now. He's a good dude, always one of the first ones to chime in when we're looking for feedback on stuff. Good dude. And he says, hello, Bill, Chris, Scott, and Joe. Sorry I missed the deadline to congratulate you guys. There's really no deadline, right? I mean, it's not like, oh, you didn't send it in last week, so we're not gonna acknowledge it. But hopefully Bill hasn't canceled the show in a fit of exasperation for having too little feedback.
Hey, it's been a long time since episode 97.
I know, man. And if honestly, if the garnering, that's not the right word. If the level of whether I would cancel the show or not, it would be based on feedback, we would have been done a long time ago. We wouldn't have made it to episode 300, I don't think. Because there was a time when we did the show and we got so much feedback that we had to actually spread it out to a second show where we just read feedback, which was awesome.
Yeah. Now that's just not a thing anymore.
No, it really isn't. And I'm okay. Like, it bothered me for a while because we would get so much feedback, right? And then when it kind of just fell off a cliff,
it's like, where's all the feedback?
It was like, wait, what's going on? And it came down to a number of things. A lot of our listeners started their own podcasts, which is great.
Yeah.
So they didn't have time to continuously write into ours or record segments for ours, which is fine. And then also just podcasting just changed, man. We talk about it all the time, how if you're not a celebrity at this point, starting a podcast is incredibly difficult unless you have like or
backed by studio money.
Backed by studio money, or like you have a very specific thing that you're able to get in front of. Like I think back to a lot of shows that like a new show would premiere. Mm-hmm. Like a TV show, and people would just start a podcast on it.
Yep.
Based on the fact that maybe the show was going to be hit, maybe it wasn't, and they could be the first in line when people are like, "Oh, I just watched." I don't know. I'll use Lost as an example. I know there's a million.
That's what I was going to say.
There's a million Lost podcasts out there, but like,
true.
You watch the first episode of Lost, and you're like, "Oh, we're going to do a podcast on this in case it catches on."
Yeah,
and it's still. I mean, but even that now, it's just like because studios are already preparing their podcasts for shows before they even release them.
Yeah,
it's
Severance part of marketing now.
Yeah, Severance is the hot thing right now, and Severance is excellent, by the way. I don't know if you're watching it or not, Chris. I'm a couple episodes behind right now because Mel's away, but Severance is excellent, and they had their own podcast and hosts for a podcast ready to go before the show ever even premiered. Mm-hmm. So it's just a different world.
It's Apple. I would hope they'd have something ready for podcasts. Right? Jesus Christ.
So anyway, getting back to Ollie's email here. Bill has canceled the show in a fit of exasperation for having too little feedback. I've been listening to the show since back when it was in the top suggestions for movie podcasts, so that probably dates it. Yeah, we were in the UK top 5 for a chunk of time, and in the US we were in the top 20 for quite a long time. So now we don't even crack the top 100,000 probably.
I haven't checked in a really long time.
It's been years since I checked because they only like list the top 100 or whatever. So,
yep.
I wanted to tell you guys how much a podcast means to us, the listeners. But as I'm English, the highest praise I can give is probably jolly good show, chaps. I quite often mean to send in some feedback, but somehow life gets in the way. Hey, I hear you. I mean, that's what life is. It's there just to get in the way. Like about that time, Bill got the voice changer stuck on and ended up sounding like Travis's first guest appearance. That was funny. I went back and listened to that. That was really funny. Nice. And that was a legit, like I couldn't get it turned off for some reason because I think my board, there's like a loose connection in it somewhere or something. So you guys would also remember back a while back, there was a sound clip that would just keep playing the music that would just come out of nowhere. And it took me like 6 months to just delete the clip. So it's something with those buttons that sometimes they just turn on or they don't turn off when you want them to. So that's what happened there. Always glad to hear about you guys' lives and your families. I'm pretty sure listening to your show has led to me starting film school at age 45. That's awesome.
Nice.
I've definitely learned something from you guys as I'm the only one who appears to know about every single obscure film they mention. And I finally get to feel like the class SWAT.
Awesome.
Keep it up, you guys. And if you ever need a sponsor to emigrate to the UK, I'm right here.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
I already said to my wife, hey, look, I'm part Irish, so I can get citizenship and bring you guys over, but Ireland can be cold, so I don't know.
Oh, yeah, because it's so fucking warm here.
Well, I mean, but they're further north than us, so they're colder longer.
Yeah, but it's not as cold, though, because they're an island, so like they don't get like the snow that we get and stuff.
No, that's true. But I don't like everything being all slick and wet. People got to start doing what I do. So you got to buy a baseball bat, right? See, baseball bat?
Yep.
And then you got to buy barbed wire for your baseball bat.
Got to buy barbed wire. You're either a professional wrestler or a... Never mind.
And honestly, this shit's no joke. It's sharp. It hurts.
Yeah.
I'm going to call it the icebreaker. Capital ICE, of course.
Of course.
And I've always loved the image of a barbed wire wrap baseball bat. It's so brutal. I just wanted to make one, so I bought barbed wire for like 25 feet is $10.
Oh yeah, barbed wire is cheap.
And these
one of the few things
baseball
that's still
bats,
cheap.
Yeah, no kidding. Huh? Not for long.
No.
So I just wanted to get it and like put it in a one of those little bat cases and just put not like Batman, but like for a baseball bat, and just put a thing that says "in case of ice, break glass."
Oh, that's cute.
Over Ice's head, because fuck everything that's going on. Anyway,
yeah,
I'm not going to drag it down.
No, we got too many good things to talk about with the movies this week, so we'll have to.
I just wanted to show off the beginning of my project.
No, that's fine. That's fine. But I will say, Ollie, I am going to be in the UK next summer. We'd love to meet up. Any of our other UK listeners, I'd love to get together. And I don't drink, so you can't buy me a pint. But you can buy me.
Why are you going to the UK at all then? I mean,
I'm going to see Oasis.
Won't the Oasis guys sniff you out and kick you out like a vegan at a barbecue or something?
No, get out of here. I was going to say, though, you can buy me all the fish and chips you want because I will be 100% on board with that. So, Ollie, thank you very much for the email. Thank you for also giving your picks for the Patreon show this week. I will get back to that momentarily, but we got a really nice message here from David, who's also been a listener for a long time, and I wanted to read that to everybody. Just started the latest episode. Just a quick comment on why you still do this. I cannot speak for you, but I can speak for myself in saying that it is greatly appreciated by me and I know many others. I have scaled down the number of podcasts that I listen to regularly as there are just so many it detracts from my time from watching movies and working. Outside the cinema has been a constant in my listening routine since I started listening in the BC days.
That's a while ago.
Time ago.
Yeah.
We don't need to talk. We don't need to talk
about Bruno.
We don't need to talk years there. A while. That's kind of weird. So I don't always agree with your reviews, but I usually do. The good thing is that OTC does not review based on other people's reviews and internet opinions.
No,
definitely not. The reviews are sincere. I have dropped podcasts to simply review based on mainstream views of the moment. They don't bandwagon review or even still bandwagon hate. OTC is one of the 2 podcasts that I contribute to via Patreon, which we thank you very much, David.
Oh, wow. Nice.
And will do so as long as I am able. Sadly, over a year ago now, I disconnected from my core group of friends as they were racist bigots, and I could no longer handle their hate speech as it got to be more and more over the years. You know the type.
Yeah.
Yes, unfortunately, yes, we do.
Yeah, they're running shit now.
I had to change barbers because of it.
I just have my wife cut the sides of my hair every week because all I got is this. So, like, this is all I do. It's just shave it down. That's got to happen in my neck. My neck's kind of... I don't do the barber anymore since I went to one that I made an appointment at, and I sat there for an hour and a half while he took walk-ins off the street.
What?
They're out of business now.
Oh, okay.
Surprise!
Surprise! Shocking turn of events. Yeah, no, my old barber. Actually, my last two barbers.
Oh man,
ended up being Trumpers. And it was like very much because the first one had a shop right up the street from me. That shop is now closed and turned into a different barber shop. But he always kind of had those leanings, and I just kind of like. At first, it was like it wasn't a thing as much as it is now.
It's really why they support them, isn't it? Because like if you're like, I just want gas and the cost of living to go down, and he said he would do it. Well, you're just a little stupid because you believed him.
Right.
There's no ill intent there, but if you're all like, hey, I think we should give ICE the power of a world government, and brown people are scary and trans people are icky because I might actually be attracted to a girl that was once a dude. You know what? Can I just say for a second?
Sure.
I've stopped caring about that. I flip through Instagram or whatever with pictures, and if somebody's attractive to me, they're attractive. I don't care what you used to be.
I agree.
And that was so freeing to not like have to worry about, am I gay? Am I this? It's like, no, fucking, I'm just going to like whoever I like. I'm married anyway. What does it matter?
Right. Yeah. No, right? I get that. I get that for sure.
But it's so freeing to just be like, well, if they look like something that I find attractive, something being gender or look or goth or, punk, whatever, then fine. I don't care.
And you can also think that someone is attractive and not like have to have sex with them. Like that's the thing that I think I have the hardest time with is these people that make these broad things about the trans community, the gay community, like whatever it may be. If someone is a furry or if whatever it is, like, okay, just don't pay attention to them then. Like,
yeah. I was watching Abbott Elementary, and one of the teachers disagreed with something the other one did, like on a fundamental level. And the one character that is selfish, self-centered, always out for themselves, had the best response ever. It was like the religious person was complaining about somebody doing something, right? And they said, well, they shouldn't be doing that. And I'm really concerned. I'm paraphrasing. And the other character looked at them and said, well, should you? And I thought about that, and it's like, no, you shouldn't, because it's not your fucking problem. It doesn't affect you at all. So shut the fuck up. You'll get it. You keep bringing me back in. But yeah, no, I can, barbers.
What I was just going to say was it was different because it was like 2016, and as much as it sucked then, it was still not what it is now. It was kind of like he was a lot of blowhard and a lot of talk. He was doing bad things, so don't get me wrong, but like it wasn't like it is now. So it was almost not forgivable, but like understandable. At that point, I still felt like if you supported Trump, you were crazy. But the thing was, I kind of understood where you were coming from. Didn't agree with it in any way, shape, or form. But I'm like, all right, you're a small business owner. You own a small barbershop. Like, Trump's all about business and giving back to bit. Like, all right, I can, as a small business owner, I know I'm fucked either way. But
he
like,
says he is.
No, exactly. And at that time, people still thought that he was.
Yeah, they believed that he was a great businessman that bankrupted how many casinos?
I know. And how many state companies and how many colleges and how many... Anyway,
don't forget pedophile rapist on top.
Yeah, I mean, you can't forget that. So
I just gotta bring that up.
So as the barber relationship moved on, like he just became super like he cut my hair good, but like it was like super inconsistent. Where like I would be like, hey man, anyway, I can get in later today. Oh, I don't have any time until Thursday. And it would be like Monday. I'm like, all right, that's
okay.
And it was just kind of like, then it was like every time I'd go by, because it's like, I literally, when I go pick Travis up from school, I would walk by it.
Yeah.
And they were always closed. I'm leaving at 12 today. I'm leaving it.
Okay.
I'm not going to be in tomorrow. And then, so I switched to another barber.
Because if he's never going to be in, he's inconsistent and undependable, not dependable.
Exactly.
And that's why his business is closed, right?
Right. So this other barber I switched to did a really good job. It was further away. It was over in Melrose, so I'd have to drive over to it.
Okay.
But he did a really good job. And like, he was a dude that like, he'd been in prison when he was younger, and like, he's trying to write his life and stuff. And, hard-edged dude, but did a really good job on my hair. So I was like, all right, cool. He seems like a good dude. And he ended up leaving the barber shop that he was at and was kind of like in between places. And so like, I went to his house a couple times. He cut my hair at his house a couple times, and we never really talked about any like politics or anything like that.
Okay.
And he kind of came on some hard times when he was in between, and like I spotted him some cash and stuff, because he was like, I got this interview. He's like, would you pay for a haircut up front here? Give me the money for the haircut now, and I'll cut your hair next week for free or whatever.
Okay.
And he got this job in Boston, and I couldn't go anymore because I wasn't going to drive into Boston to fucking get a haircut.
Well, yeah.
I don't have enough hair left to justify that. But then during the election cycle, like the day after the election, he started posting, I can't wait to see all the liberal crybabies today. And, how does it feel to know that, like, after everything you've done, we still were able to, and it was just all of that stuff. And I'm just like, you know what, man, I was cool to you. And like, I helped you out when you needed it. And like, thought we had like a cool relationship. Yeah. And I'm now never going to speak to you again.
Right. Because it's one thing about being a sore loser. It's a whole nother thing to be a fucking sore winner.
Right. Exactly. So I did not speak to him again after that. I unfriended him everywhere and stuff. But I've got a barber at the place that he used to work at. That's awesome. And he's like, yeah, man, what the fuck is up with our country? Like, good. Dude, I agree.
Good.
I agree.
Yeah.
Anyway, I should probably finish reading Dave's message here.
Oh shit. Yeah. Sorry. I thought you were done.
But Dave, to get back to your point of like, separating from people, like, hey, we get it. We feel for you. It sucks, but it's probably the right thing to do.
You got to do what's best for your own brain.
Thankfully, I did not have to hear them after last November. I'd finally had enough. Regardless, OTC is like having friends over to talk movies again. It's a highlight of my week, and just know that even if we don't write into your show or not able to view the live events, that we appreciate what you do. We appreciate you and what you do and what you continue to do. It will be a sad day when there is no more OTC. Take care and keep up the great work. Thank you very much, Dave. It's very sweet. And then Scott responded to him and said, Dave, I can only assume most of this is about me and only me specifically. I appreciate that. Peace and love, Reverend Scott.
Speaking of Donald Trump.
Yes. So, David, thank you very much, man. Send us your Patreon pics, dude. Anyone else that's on the Patreon, patreon.com/outside the cinema. Message us a couple of movies to review. We're doing Ollies this week. And I think he's the only one, if I'm not mistaken, let me just double check here. I think he's the only one that has sent in picks so far.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, so far he's the only one. So send him in, and maybe you can get in next week. So, this week on the show, we are doing two classics. We're doing Diabolique and we are doing Tokyo Story, two certified classics from the 1950s. Les Diaboliques, 1955, Tokyo Story, 1953. These, as we said, are Ollie's picks. He says, hi, Bill and Chris. I thought I'd add my picks for Patreon if that's okay. I usually pick something British for you guys that Chris will obviously hate.
What?
Yeah, you usually do. I thought I would go a bit different this time. Pick two things that I have seen over the past year that are very highly regarded. First up is Les Diaboliques from 1955, and second is Tokyo Story from 1953. Tokyo Story is an example of a so-called slow cinema. So it is really deliberate and it is really deliberate, so you need to make sure you watch and keep the phone away. Bill, right. I thought would appreciate the aesthetic of this film from a filmmaker's perspective, and the message remains poignant today. Diabolique traditionally hits high on the 100 list of scariest moments, and although I'm pretty sure it won't scare you, it's interesting and an enjoyable film. Keep up the good work, Ollie.
I'll say this before we start the Diabolique review. This hit, and I can say this as a definitive. I know this for a fact, even though I wasn't alive. This hit way different back in 55 than it did now.
Oh, for sure.
Because the climax has been repeated so many times in so many different ways that I was sort of surprised, but sort of let down because I'd seen it before, but I'm trying to get that out of my head.
Yeah. So I had seen Diabolique, the original, many years ago. It's been a long time since I've seen it. And then I saw the remake that they did.
Oh yeah, with Sharon Stone.
And I forget who the other woman was in it.
Oh, I'll find out. I don't know. I just know.
It's not really important, but I had seen that more recently, like within probably the last 10 years.
Okay.
Tokyo Story I'd never actually seen. So I was excited.
No, I've only heard of it. Yeah.
All right, so let's get into the reviews here. Do you care which one we start with? Do you have a preference?
Not really. No, not at all.
All right, well, let me open this up here and see which one pops up first. OTC season 17 list now available on IMDb.
Oh yeah, I should start mine.
I mean, I could just share. I can just share mine with you. So, okay, let's do Diabolique first.
Okay.
I'm not going to play the trailers for these. They're both foreign language to us. Tokyo Story obviously being in Japanese and Diabolique being in French. And the trailers that I found were both in original languages. Both of these two we watched are the Criterion versions of them, which are available to stream in a number of places. The Criterion channel being one of them. Max also has a lot of the Criterion films on it. And I think even Plex has some of them, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Tokyo Story is actually in like 4 different places on YouTube as well. Some of them actually really good versions.
Oh, good.
So, yeah. I just, now when I get titles, just for the heck of it, I type it into YouTube and see if it's there.
Oh, okay.
Just to see, because you never know what people get away with.
Yeah, I go to Just Watch. That's the first.
Yeah, but they don't have YouTube, so that's why I add that to the whole thing.
Yeah, so like when I first looked up Diabolique, nothing showed up because I put it in as Les Diaboliques. But it's listed on there just under Diabolique. So that's what originally I was like, Chris, I don't think it's actually available anywhere. And then I realized, oh no, it's available like a bunch of places. Anyway, so, okay, Diabolique 1955, directed by Henri Georges Clouzot, written by Pierre Boulier, based on his novel. The original title of the novel is C'est que Niet Plus, starring Simone Signoret, Vera Clouzot, Charles Vanel, and Paul Marceau, and Jean Brochard. All right. Clouzot, in terms of his output, is best known for this film, and then he also worked on The Wages of Fear, which is probably the other thing he's known for. He wrote and worked on a bunch of scripts on some stuff, mostly French language stuff, some murder mysteries and stuff like that. But Diabolique is his crowning achievement, and he worked on a film called Inferno too, which is actually pretty well known.
Yeah.
Not the Italian film Inferno,
right.
French film Inferno.
Yes.
So Diabolique is a pretty simple story. You have 2 women. You have Nicole and Christine. They both work at a boarding school for young boys. Looks like probably elementary, junior high age. In there.
Yeah, up to junior. Yeah, not high school. So primary school, I think, is what they would call it. Yeah,
right? Maybe middle school, fifth to eighth.
Yeah, I think at most. Yeah.
Not super important, but so the 2 of them work there. Christina actually owns the school. It was left to her from a family member. She is married to Michel, who is the principal of the school. And he is apparently also having a affair with Nicole, who is the friend and other teacher in this. We learn early on that Christina is suffering from a heart issue of some sort, and that basically Michelle is a piece of shit.
Yeah, they go pretty hard on that. I mean, like, I wanted him dead at the dinner table in the beginning.
Almost immediately.
Yeah, he does it. See, now I don't know if he does a really good job of pretending to be like that, or he just is like that, because that's how good he was at it. And
the French demeanor is also very rigid.
This movie, I think, is about 90% of why they had the reputation they had going through the 70s with When We Were Little.
I believe it. Yeah.
Because the looks of disdain is permanently etched into some of these people's faces. It's either apathy or disdain.
Yeah.
And it's just, they are so condescending.
Yeah. Did you see? I know you don't watch a lot of hockey, but so they're doing this new.
Oh, I saw.
Oh, you saw it in Montreal. They're booing the national anthem.
I did. And I saw a bunch of responses about, do you know how much of a fucking asshole you need to be for Canada to boo you?
That's so true. But Montreal
Seriously,
will boo
it's
anything,
like,
so.
It's like Mr. Rogers kicking you in the nuts.
Yeah. If they booed it in Toronto, I think it actually would have been more effective. But in fact, it was in Montreal. They're like, it's almost expected, I think.
Well, yeah, I could see that. Yeah, but
Anyway.
no, that's just courtesy. Every fan knows that.
Yeah.
That's courtesy, no matter what country it is, unless it's Russia.
Russia.
Sorry, America 2.
Yeah,
Or
right.
Russia 1. We're going to be Russia 2.
We're going to be Russia 2. There's no America 2 over there. Anyway, getting back to Diabolique.
I just need to know what language I need to learn.
I don't have an answer for that. Sorry.
No.
So getting back to Diabolique, Michel, her husband, is a jerk. He's just a jerk, and he's mean to her, and he's rude to her, and he's cheating on her, and he's just straight garbage, plain and simple.
Absolutely.
So the school is going to be going on vacation, and Nicole is going to be traveling during the vacation, and Christina is going to go with her. And they set up this very, well, it's not super elaborate, but a pretty elaborate plan to basically draw Michel to them, kill him, and then have a rock solid alibi
Right.
to prove that to show that they weren't the ones that committed this murder. But
I don't understand that part.
I do.
I mean, I sort of do, but like, come on, the mistress and the wife that wanted a divorce.
I mean,
sorry. And now we don't know where the guy is that's involved with both of these people.
no, but they set it up in terms of they're away. People know that they're away. But she calls him and says, "Hey, we're going to get divorced," knowing that he's going to come immediately to her.
Right.
So, and knowing what time of night it was, nobody would see him leave. Plus, they took the car, so there wasn't going to be an easy way to prove.
Okay. Yeah.
And basically,
there's some details that just flew over my head, I guess.
Yeah. So and then what they do is they return with his body. So basically, they lure him there, they drug him, and then drowned him in the tub.
Yep.
And then put his body into a wicker basket, of all things.
Right.
And are going to return to the school with it late at night so that nobody will see them. Dump the body into the pool. They have a pool there, but the pool's very dirty and not being well taken care of. So the idea that he would end up in the bottom of the pool and nobody would notice it right away would again lead to the fact that he'd been in there for a certain amount of time.
Right.
Because they would be able to tell that he'd been dead since whatever day it was.
Yep.
But he was there at that time, so he ended up in the pool. And maybe he was there and no one saw it.
Right.
But of course,
and it's a boarding school, so that's another reason why they wanted to do it, because there's always people there.
Right. But of course, things don't go the way they are expecting. They're expecting the body to be found in the pool. They find a way to get the pool drained so that it's not weird that it's being drained, and they drain the pool out.
Yeah.
The body is not there.
Because they expected the body to float.
Right.
And it didn't.
So they drain the pool.
That's a problem.
And the body is gone. Now, Christine is freaking the fuck out.
Yep.
Who took the body? Is he alive? What the hell is going on? No, we know.
I think it was
dead.
the Baja men. Oh no, they let the dogs out. They didn't take the body.
There's no dogs in the movie.
I got nothing to do here, so
It's
go
fine.
ahead.
It's fine. So the crux of this film then is all of these weird instances of what is going on with the body. Is Michel alive? Is he dead? Did someone find the body and is now going to blackmail them? All of these different things start to happen. And the mystery as it unfolds itself with a twist at the end, which I won't give. I mean, I know this is not a 1955 movie, but I don't want to give away the twist if you haven't seen the film.
Right.
But there's a twist at the end, which if you've seen any movie like this, you know exactly what's going to happen, but it's still done very well, I thought.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
And yeah, it plays itself out that way. This film is a classic, man. I mean, it's like whether you love or hate it, like you got to respect what this film is because of the time it was made, its effect it had on cinema goers afterwards, and really kind of how it set the tone for certain thrillers and whodunits to come after it. Because as you said earlier, a bunch of films have used the tropes that are used in this movie, and very few of them do it as well as it's done in this, correct?
That's true. That's 100% true, yeah.
So, it's kind of tough to really break a film like this down because it has such a high regard.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is pretty perfect for what they're trying to do. The music works excellent for what they do. Its look is great. A lot of the shots are very deliberate in like the wide shots, what you're getting in them, where you're seeing certain people, where things are moving.
Yeah, it's definitely not a fortunate accident that something ended up in the frame.
No, not at all.
You could tell this was just well thought out from the beginning. I thought I read that it took like 18 months to write the adaptation of the book.
I want to say that is true. Because the gentleman that wrote the novel also worked on the screenplay. He had a couple of other people that worked with him on it, but they worked on. Yeah, I want to say it was 18 months. I think you're right.
Yeah, I think that was one of the last things I read before we started. So I'm hoping it's right because that's my memory. But that's one reason why this is so good, because you have the original author like really going into it and helping get everything just right for what they put on screen, and it worked. Sometimes it's not always great when you get the original author in there to do stuff, but
no, yeah, sometimes it can cause more problems than it's worth. But I think with this one, it seemed to work, and it's interesting too because Alfred Hitchcock wanted to buy this story to adapt it, and Clouseau actually beat him apparently by like the story's like an hour or something. He put his offer in an hour before Hitchcock did or something.
Wow.
Yeah.
That would have been interesting to see it done by him.
It's got a very Hitchcockian feel to it, though.
Oh, it does.
And I know a lot of the good mystery films from this time period all kind of feel like Hitchcock because he kind of set the bar.
Yeah.
But this one has definitely got that like air of creepiness to it that some of the other ones don't have. And there's nothing supernatural going on in this film. It's never even really taught, teased at. It's very, much just a whodunit and what's going on.
Yeah. So. And I think there is a mention of like ghosts or spirits or something, but it's always as a, what is this really? It's not, why does this look like the headmaster's face in the window? It's, why does that look? Let's go look. And it's never, a ghost. They don't Scooby-Doo this thing. So that was nice to see.
One of the things, too, that I did read was that I've never read the novel for this, but I did see the Sharon Stone version. And there is there's a bit of a lesbian relationship between the two women, and they take it out in this one. And it was in the original novel from what I gathered.
Oh, it was? Okay.
Yeah. Which adds another layer to it that I think works in the remake. But I don't think it would have worked in this. It wouldn't have felt natural, I don't think. So I'm actually kind of glad they omitted it.
Yeah, because they're too, the blonde there, she's too antagonistic. She's too angry, too demanding, which when you finish the movie, like the way everybody acts totally makes sense. But yeah, they couldn't have been together. Just because of the power dynamic between them, which is strange as well, because the mistress had more control over the situation than the wife, but the mistress wasn't really getting anything out of his death. Was she?
The idea, I think, was that he's just a horrible person. And she, despite whatever relation she had with him, doesn't want to put up with his shit anymore either.
Right. And if she gets divorced, then half goes to the husband kind of thing, right?
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Well, and the school was the thing that she was really like, if we get divorced, he's going to get the school.
Right. Right. And he's not He's not great, so
No, no, and you could put it that way if you want.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like technically, it's up there with the all-time bests. I mean, it's the way it's shot, the way it's written, the way it's acted, everything in it is top notch.
Yeah, it's genre defining, and I know that sounds cliche, and there's few that are like that, but I mean, this is so early in the cycle of these kind of films, these mysteries with.
Yeah.
I can't even say, because if somebody hasn't seen it, any hint will raise suspicion, and then you'll watch it differently.
Yeah. It's definitely well, how do I want to word this? It's when you go back and you revisit the stuff that is the certified classics, they don't always hold up. Like
True.
There's a lot that I feel like you can watch them and you can appreciate why they are talked about the way they are, but you're like, the film is not as strong now as it was at the time. This is not that film. This film, I think, is as strong now as it was when it was released. And that's a really tough thing to have a film hold up for this. So 55, it's what, 75 years old?
72 years?
72 years?
Yeah, 72. Yeah.
No, 55. So it would have been 2025. So that's 45, 75. 70.
Isn't that what I said?
I don't know. It doesn't matter. Don't make me do math.
I know that my parents were born in 50 and 52, and I know how old they are.
What's 25 plus 45? Quick, 70, right? 70 years old.
Good. There we go.
Christ, man, we're dumb.
It's a hey. You never told me I needed to know math for this.
No, I hate it, dude. I haven't done a math problem since fucking I graduated from high school. I don't even think I did any math when I was in college, even though I took a bunch of math classes.
I gotta say this. This is really interesting to me. It has nothing to do with anything we're talking about, obviously. I found a thing that'll help you with fractions, like in your head, and it's stupidly insane. All right. So if you have 25% of 80, right? And you got to figure that out. It's a little difficult sometimes, but you can reverse it because the numbers are transitive, I believe the word is. So 20% of 80 is also the same as 80% of 20. Because like say you had 100 and you want 25% of 100, that's 25. But what's if you reverse it, 100% of 25 is, you see what I'm not explaining it well.
No, you got me lost.
You can take the two numbers that you want. If it's a sale and it's 70% off the sale price, right? You can take the sale price and the percentage price, and you can swap them in place. So instead of 70% off of $5, it can be, you take care of the money part. You drop that, so it's 5, and then it'd be 5% of 80, and then it's. I did it on paper and it worked.
It's fine. I believe you. Let's get back to the
If I could have explained it, like it stopped me for a good 4 minutes just staring at the screen, watching this person explain it over and over again. I'm like, why the fuck wasn't I taught that in school?
Doesn't matter.
I brought that up because this movie's about a school.
It is. All right. Well, speaking of schools, let's give this film a grade. All right, Chris, do you recommend, and what is your grade for Diabolique?
I am going to recommend it. But I am going to say I have a conflicting opinion about this.
Okay.
I understand why it's as long as it is. And I know that is used to build the tension and suspense and tell the story. But it really felt like a couple of scenes early on could have been shortened.
Okay.
Like all of the buildup before the murder. That was like 45 minutes. That was like...
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Most of the movie. And I felt like once the dinner scene was done and he forced her to eat the food and they argued about divorce, I'm like, we get it. We know where you are. But it's definitely, it's not even a slow burn. This is like a simmer that just all of a sudden boils. Like, bam. So there were times where I was a little like, can we get to the point? Also, I know for a fact, and I'm factoring this in, that I've been so busy with work these last 2 weeks. I really didn't think I'd be able to concentrate on this or the other one because they're serious movies,
Yep.
right? We're not watching, Rollerball Babes in Dino Land. Let me write that down. So that was tough, was actually forcing myself to watch these. And I was afraid I wouldn't enjoy them as much. And that's probably where that one criticism comes from, because I was trying to not watch them. Because every now and then, every few weeks, it seems like I go through this period where nothing interests me.
I can back you up on that because I get everything. That too.
Yeah. And it's bad. It's like I'll just sit and flip through YouTube or whatever and not pick stuff. And it's just, and in my head, my face shows it, all of it. So I was worried. I don't think it's going to affect it because I'm just going to give it an A. There we go.
Fair enough. Okay.
I tried to be as fair as I could when I was bored and I didn't want to watch it.
No, that's fair. So I had seen it before, so revisiting it wasn't the chore because I knew what I was getting into. But no, it was actually nice to revisit it. I will say that it is about just under 2 hours long, but I don't really think it feels like it's that long. I feel like it moves itself along. I can understand the criticism you're giving it in terms of like that front 45 could probably be tightened up a little bit. I actually don't think so. I think everything in it is done very deliberately to set up exactly what's coming.
Well, like I said, I wasn't in the mood for anything.
No,
so.
Yeah, I get that. But, and also like watching the film with 2025 eyes is a different situation when you think about when they were making this film in 1953, 54, when they were filming it, that, they were giving it to an audience that had never experienced anything really like this before. So
it has the warning on the end. Please don't tell anyone about the ending.
Which I'm glad you mentioned that. Actually, I forgot to mention that earlier. It's a fucking brilliant piece of like little bit of marketing that they did for this, because at the end of the film it comes up and it was like, we hope you enjoyed the film. We want you to tell your friends to see it, but do not tell them what happens. Do not ruin, and it says like, do not ruin the enjoyment for others, which I thought was
absolutely
great.
Would. Yeah.
Oh, totally would.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, I'm giving it like the highest recommend I can give. It's utterly brilliant in what it's trying to do. The way it's shot, the way it's acted, the way it's written, the music is great. Despite the pacing, I love it. I think it's not as slow a burn as the second film we'll talk about today, but like it's definitely got that slow burn in the front half, and then everything ramps up at the end, which is exactly what you want in kind of like a twisty thriller. Yeah. So I will give it an A. I will give it an A because it is brilliant in what it does. And the fact that it holds up as well as it does 70 years later.
Well, that's because they told a story about people, just people. And relationships and money are always going to be a thing. Unfortunately, you can pick which one I'm talking about.
I hear you.
So that's why that kind of thing works. But when you throw in, like, say, Sandra Bullock's The Net, that's never going to live up to itself, 4 years down, 6 months after it's released. It's going to be outdated. But you do this and you have it be about just people. That's what lasts. That's why Clerks is still kind of, you can show somebody that's just started a job and be like, there you go, that's you. And they'll be like, fuck, it is.
So obviously both of us highly recommend Les Diaboliques. So if you have never had a chance to see it, check it out now. It's worth your time. It's available a bunch of places. And the Criterion print is, you could not ask for a better looking print from 1955 France than what they.
Oh my God. Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Really all right. Great. Moving on to Ollie's second pick tonight, which is 1953's Tokyo Story. Another people film, really.
Yeah. More people, if possible.
Yeah, there's more people. Tokyo Story 1953, directed by Yoshihiro Osu, who died at the young age of 60, but he had done many films. He did a bunch, something like 20 silent films. And then when he came back from the war, he started working on films, Early Summer, Flavor of Green Tea, Early Spring, Tokyo Twilight. Obviously, Tokyo Story's in there. Very well-rounded and well-renowned Japanese director. And Tokyo Story is probably his like, I don't know if I want to say best piece because Tokyo Twilight's actually quite good too.
Best known.
I'll say it. It's his best known, most well regarded film. And Tokyo Story is really a very simple slice of life of a Japanese family centered around the elderly couple, the grandparents, and basically them coming to visit their grown children in Tokyo. They live out in an area of Tokyo near the coast, or an area of Japan near the coast, and it's a long travel for them to come visit in Tokyo. This is a powerful piece of work. This film, and it doesn't really seem like anything is going on until you kind of start to like think about what it is. And this is not like a genre flick or anything like that. There's no anything going on. It's just about this family and the elderly parents coming to visit them. And it's really, they come to visit and they got 3 children that live in the Tokyo area, and they just want to spend time with their kids. But in the hustle and bustle of, I say modern Tokyo, it's 1953 Tokyo. They all have their own stuff going on. They have their own jobs. They have their own kids. They have their own things. And they just don't really have the time to shutter the parents around.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if this was in the version you watched, but I really liked it when Godzilla showed up and destroyed the city after that.
I don't know what you
that
watched.
was the wrong that was
I don't know what you watched.
I don't know. It said it at a -1 rating. No, okay. I want to say right from the beginning, I'm going to have a problem with this movie. There's a lot of things that happen in this that are things that we've gone through or experienced. One of them being, and I'm gonna probably mischaracterize the parents in this, but the parents want something. They want an experience. They want to see their kids do this and that. But what parents forget when their kids get older is that they're doing all the things that they did as parents with their new family. So because the parents miss them and want to spend time with them and are far away, that doesn't mean that any time is good to just show up or ask somebody to do something for you. And when they say, I'm at work, you can't get mad about that, mother-in-law. There are a lot of people that think, oh, well, I'm free, so they will be too.
Right.
And yeah.
But
not a lot of good memories coming from this movie, by the way.
No. And that's a thing I will say that depending on what your relationship with your family is like, this film will hit differently.
Yeah.
I don't think it's I'm out of line saying this because we've talked about it on the show before. You don't have the best relationship with your family.
I thought I did, but you're right. I don't. Yeah.
I, on the other hand,
if I start talking about this, it's not going to end for 45 minutes.
No, and we don't really need to get into it. But I'm just saying I think you and I are going to look at this film completely different because I do have a good relationship with my parents, and I'm not trying to I'm not bragging or anything. I'm just stating.
Why? Okay, no, I appreciate that, but that's not when I was trying to get pregnant with my wife.
You realized you were a dude and it was never going to happen.
Yeah,
so.
And then when we switched to her getting pregnant, it worked fine.
Works so much better.
There were some people that at the movie theater that I worked at the time who got their girlfriends accidentally pregnant, and everybody's like, "Well, don't tell them or whatever over there." Don't let. And I'm like, "Look, I have nothing to do with them, and they have nothing to do with me. People are having kids right now. I'm not mad about it."
Right.
So,
I hear you.
So no, I can't be mad at any. I'm happy for people that have a support system.
Right.
So,
and my parents will support you if you want them to too. My parents love you. So,
nice.
But yeah, so we have very different feelings about our family and how we interact with them.
Yeah.
And I think immediately you were just like, oh, you can't just show up and expect. But I don't feel like they showed up and expected anything. They were just there and they were just happy to be there because there's no point where the mother and father are demanding anything of anybody.
No, that's true. They
don't ask for anything.
They are Japanese polite.
They're just happy to be there and spend time with they feel bad about having them have to do things because there is a daughter-in-law. They've had it. So the couple had a son pass away I believe in the war is what it was.
Yeah.
And so he has a widow, and the widow is the only one out of the family who wants to spend time with them and genuinely is enjoying spending time with them because it makes her feel closer to her husband that's passed away, which is a really beautiful thing because you can see how at peace she is like with them, and like the mother stays, and there's all these different little things going on. And I don't think going in and out of the like specifics of the film is really going to make much of a difference. I think it's more of a kind of a general discussion about it.
It's a whole movie kind of thing.
Yeah.
If I mean, we could talk about shot composition, symbolism, like, because the guy's a fucking master, and I don't know why he's not talked about with higher regard, like in mainstream. I know that like film students and people like us, like we're all over it, but like more people should know about this. More regular people.
Yeah, in the film communities, like this is he's very well regarded as a director,
right.
and this is like a crowning achievement. But yeah, I know I agree with like people don't think of this when they're like, oh, classics, like Gone with the Wind, Casablanca, whatever. Like, like this is a film that should like kind of fall into those conversations.
Yeah.
Because it's foreign language, it was never dubbed. I mean, I don't know, maybe it was dubbed at some point, but it's not like the version that this is Criterion. This is Criterion also, just to put that out there. But the like storytelling of it is just very much like slice of life. The parents are just looking to have some time to spend with the kids. They don't even care that they got to work. They're like, whatever, we'll just hang out here. Like, but then the parents feel like they need to do something for them. So the parents, in like what is probably the most telling piece of this, the parents come to visit. They can't, the kids can't take the time off of work or whatever. So they send them to a spa. They send them to a hotel and a spa, and they spend a bunch of money to send them there. And they talk about how it's a really nice hotel and it's not cheap. And like, so the parents go there and they're kind of like, yeah, this is nice, but like, we came to Tokyo to visit our family.
Yeah.
So they come back early and the family and the kids almost get mad at them. They're like, why did you come back early? And they're like, well, we saw the place. It was nice, but we wanted to be here. And they're, well, we can't help you. Call Noroko. Maybe Noroko can help you. And then she helps them and takes them out for a day and gives them the best day of the trip or whatever.
Yeah, there is a lot to be said about familiarity, not familial, but familiarity. But in the situations like the stepdaughter hasn't spent her whole life with them, but the kids have. So
yeah.
It's one of those things where it's like, I know who you are. Great to see you. I'm glad everything's okay, but I got to go do this, because you feel like you can do that when they're family, like they would understand. But if everybody does it, it kind of turns the whole situation around at this point and takes these parents that could be just the fucking worst, and they're turned into the sympathetic characters.
But there is a few moments here and there that are sprinkled in with the parents. They'll let you know that they're not always on top of, they're not like, there's a point where the father says, oh, we came to visit. I thought my son-in-law was going to be a big time doctor, but he's just the neighborhood doctor.
Yeah.
And
I was
wondering
about that. Yeah.
He talks down to the fact that he's just the neighborhood doctor. Like that was a bad thing.
Well, I mean, in that culture, right? It is, because you're not the best you could be. I never understood that thinking, because like, I need somebody to make fries or stock shelves or whatever, so that when I do my job, I can go and get the things. What's wrong with that? If it's not hurting you and it can pay you what you need. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, India does that a lot. I see a lot of, I watch some Indian comedians, and like, that's a big thing too. Same with like people from Israel. Like this isn't going to go bad, I promise. I was watching a really old It was like one of those funniest or dumbest answers on game shows, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's fucking Buddy Hackett, okay? So no one knows him anymore. The question was, what country has the most doctors per capita? And he laughed and said, oh, it's probably Israel. And the woman said, I agree. And he was like, what? That was the joke part. Let me tell you. And he's like, no, yeah, you're right. It is Israel. And he was blown away. That was just funny. I just want to share that. Because this movie's a little depressing. So
it is. And what it comes down to, I think, is this film is showing the changes in Japanese culture at this time period.
Yeah.
After the war, everyone has come home. And I believe the director, he was also, he was in the war at one point. So he's seeing this change in Japanese society. Whereas in the past, it was always about the elders. Taking care of the elders, being there for the elders. And now that everyone has their own jobs, their own families, their own things that are going on, the elders in the family sometimes are getting pushed down and to the back of the line or whatever in terms of importance. And it's done in such a powerful way in this film because they don't realize that they're doing it until it's too late.
Yeah.
And the thing that's frustrating is you look at it and I don't think, it's one of the mother passes away. They come to visit the mother. They try to get there before she passes. A couple of the kids get there before she does, and one of them doesn't. And they are mourning, but they mourn for such a short amount of time. And just like, all right, well, we're gonna take her clothes and we're gonna do this and we're gonna do that and we're gonna go back. They don't even stay. Like they do the funeral and they do all the stuff at the temple they need to do, and they come back and they have a little something to eat, and then they're like, well, I guess we got to go back to work now.
Yeah, that's a cultural thing, isn't it, though?
But at this time, it was a change from what it had used to be. People would mourn for extended amount of time in Japanese culture, I didn't know that.
Okay.
They don't do that in this. So it's very interesting to see the changes and the way that Ozu's presenting these changes in society. And he does it in such this like flat way where he's not saying that anybody is doing anything inherently wrong or anybody's doing anything inherently right. It's just this is kind of how it is now.
Yeah, because once traditions or cultural norms change, you go with it or you're left behind.
Right. All right, let's give it a grade.
And everything was moving really fast for Japan. They got back on their feet as fast as they possibly could and then ruled the electronics and car markets.
All right, Chris, do you recommend and what is your grade for Tokyo Story?
All right. So, yes, I will recommend it. It's beautiful to look at, even if you're not a fan of family dynamics, I guess. I don't know. It can be difficult to watch for some people. I was not happy with it, but I don't have to be happy with it to like it. So, I mean, this is the same. This is the same as the other one. It's a staple of that country's film output, and it's like enshrined as a classic, story of people trying to just be adults, and nobody really knows what the fuck they're doing.
Right.
Anywhere, nobody knows. We're all guessing. So yeah, I'm gonna have to give it the same thing. Like I said, the A- is super rare, and I think that's only for my favorites that are actually awesomely good. So I'm gonna give this one an A as well.
Nice. I'm right there with you. This film is brilliant. Highest of recommends. If you think of yourself in any way, shape, or form as a cinema fan, this is something you need to make sure you watch. It's shot brilliantly. It's acted amazing. It's written very well. The music works. I'm kind of just running back what I said about the first film, like you did. And I think Ollie knew that this was going to happen when he suggested these films. Yeah, I think he just kind of wanted to hear us say it. I think he knew what he was going to get out of it. But it's brilliant. Yeah. It's brilliant. It's one of the best Japanese films ever made. And then if you want to throw it into the greatest films of all time, you probably can. And that's not even necessarily based on like enjoyment. It's just like when you're looking at it as a whole and what it does, it's an important film. It really shows this changing, kind of changing of the guard in Japan at this time period. You know, everyone's everyday life became different.
It's interesting because that reminds me that I watched a thing afterwards because I really liked how it looked, how it was shot. So I'm like, all right, there's something different here. I need to find somebody to tell me what the reasoning was behind all this, because the way he shoots his dialogue, like the
shot very low.
Yeah. They said it was called tatami level, which is the mats on the floor.
Yeah, low angle shots on sticks, like
but
very little moving camera.
Yeah, the people talking to each other, though, they're like sitting next to each other. It looks like a natural thing instead of always being across from each other at a table or something. And people talk directly to the camera, which then makes me as a viewer feel really vulnerable.
Slightly uncomfortable. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, and it gives it this air of sincerity from these characters. And it's you say it's a changing of the guard culturally in the time, and this movie, the way he shot things, like the lack of camera movement, but it just works. Like he knows the rules and he broke them on purpose, and it makes sense to do it in this one.
Changes the whole feel. Even
the behind the scenes thoughts were very particular, very important to the overall feel of the film, and that's fascinating to me.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I'm giving it an A also. And you guys know I don't dole out A's very often. So, both of these films this week got an A because they are the classics that people claim they are.
Yeah.
So there you have it. Ollie, thank you very much for suggesting these.
Yeah, that was nice.
Because we probably,
as much as I dreaded watching this one.
Yeah, we probably wouldn't have covered them otherwise. We tend to try to steer clear of the classics. But it's nice to get them every once in a while, and it's probably the number 1 and number 2 films that'll be reviewed all year. So
yeah.
But speaking of classics, Joe is doing Carnosaur 2 today.
Oh, good, back to normal. I'm kidding.
Hang on, I think I did.
Your boy Joe here, and we are a far fucking sight from Jurassic Park. Bill made me watch Carnosaur 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Mm-hmm.
If you're like me, you spent just a fuck ton of time in the video store in the 80s, 90s, and the aughts. Well, early aughts. Either, or probably both, as a customer and as an employee.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
If you worked at the video store, you probably had a great time, ... as long as the store wasn't open. Few customer service jobs will make you understand the motivation of the mad doctor from Carnosaur 1 wanting to kill every human being on the planet with a deadly virus, like working the register at a video store will.
Oh, record store is just as bad.
I don't always agree with lines that Kevin Smith wrote around the same time that this movie was made, but this job would be great if it wasn't for the fucking customers is as true as the sky is blue, the grass is green, and Elon Musk is a goddamn Bond villain without the charm, and I hope he gets Ebola.
Yeah. Moron.
I have mentioned the video store in this and the last review, mainly because it was the only place that Carnosaur and its spawned sequels had a home.
True.
Seems like at least once a month I'd open up the big box of movies after close on a Monday night, because the new movies always came out on a Tuesday, and there would be like an odd, like a sequel to a movie where I was like, okay, I guess I saw Air Bud, but like, why is there a new Air Bud film? And
there's like
really
12
confused.
of those.
Yeah, right.
And they might only get rented like once or twice before being relegated to like the kids section or whatever, throw them away into the categories, but maybe we'd get another American Pie film to clog up the shelves. Oh, and we can't forget about Blood Fist. I mean, shit, they made like 4 of those things even after the B-tier Jet Li, Don the Dragon Wilson, noped his way to another cheap martial arts flick.
Oh, man.
I can only imagine that it was just like massive tax fraud that produced all those sequels to Bring It On and Hellraiser and Children of the Corn and Lake Placid and all those goddamn witchcraft movies.
Yeah.
Pretty sure nothing Pretty sure nothing Bill has ever made me watch has scarred me more than the witchcraft movies.
Well, it's because there was 37 of them.
In the
No
time
kidding, he's
it
still
took me
watching
to
them.
write down all those mediocre franchises, I realized that what I'm watching here with Carnosaur 2 is not like a knockoff of Jurassic Park. That's wishful fucking thinking, and you need to stop smoking the hopium. No, what they did here with no Jurassic Park 2 to bite its rhymes, they chose one of, if not the best sequel of all time. Big Mama's House 2.
What?
I'm kidding, of course.
Oh,
It's
okay.
Aliens. They're
Oh,
doing
okay.
Aliens, everybody.
That's fine, right?
They're doing Aliens.
Oh, it must not be
We've got
okay.
the Paul Reiser guy, the obviously evil corporate stooge who's going to put everyone in danger willingly, and we will all cheer when he dies. We've got Bill Paxton guy, the one who has all the maturity of an unmedicated ADHD 8th grader who somehow bumbled his way into being a high-level military shooter man. He makes sexist jokes and is barely a human being. There's the Michael Biehn guy, the stoic hero who keeps it all together and going forward. And why isn't he higher ranking if he's this really good, thoughtful, I know how to get through this guy? Except the guy playing him here looks like they got suburban Toledo's 13th best pot dealer to play him.
Okay.
He's like the guy who's like 34, but he goes to all the high school ragers and passes out microdots and
Yeah.
like worships
McNeely.
McConaughey's character from Dazed and Confused.
It's Matt Gates, right?
And then there's Miguel Nunez Jr., who is kind of his own classification. Like if being in bad movies was an Olympic sport, we'd be talking about him instead of Jim Thorpe. Google that one. I'd love to tell you that they just took the framework for Aliens and put their own spin on it, but I've been sitting here for an hour, incredulous at how many lines they stole, how many characters they ripped off, and how they are literally doing Aliens beat for beat. I mean, they even did the gimmick where the helicopter pilot is like a really cute, somewhat mousy girl, and then right as they're like, you know what, fuck this, we're out of here, they're running to the thing, she gets eaten by Carnosaur as the thing is lifting off and it crashes and they're stuck there. They literally did that. It's when I tell you this is beat for beat Aliens, it's fucking beat for beat Aliens. It's incredible. I would say James Cameron should sue, but that would be like kicking the schizophrenic homeless guy on the corner because, like, you know, he's saying, get away from her, you bitch, when you walk past his hat filled with a handful of change. I'm not going to talk about the plot anymore because you've seen Aliens and you've probably seen a Roger Corman sci-fi film.
I have.
Pretty sure I've seen this set in at least 3 or 4 other Roger Corman films.
Yeah.
No, what I
Sounds
need
about right.
to talk about for the remainder of this review is Rick Dean. Rick Dean plays Monk, who is this film's Bill Paxton from Aliens. He's the guy, oh, game over, man. You know, he's the fucking, he's that fucking guy.
That guy,
Like
yep.
the fucking guy where it's like if he actually existed, you would not bring him on the mission because, like, I fucking can't.
Yeah.
I just fucking can't with this guy. I just looked him up on IMDb, and he's got like 60-some credits. He's got quite a few, and they are all from movies of this caliber or below. All those like shitty video store, straight-to-video, why did they even make this sequels? He's in all of them. If you asked me to guess, I would have told you that Roger Corman was strolling Venice Beach one morning, thinking about the 6 films he was making that week, and tripped over a guy who was coming down from a peyote vision quest, and then Corman just looks at him and deadpans, want to be in a movie? Paid him $35 in a whatchamacallit candy bar for his effort.
Love whatchamacallit.
His line readings and acting choices would make you think that he is full on 5150 and doesn't know he's acting. He thinks the aliens are making him put on a show and that he's in the actor's nightmare just making shit up as he goes along. It's mystifying. You should watch Carnosaur 2 just to watch Rick Dean try to, quote, act, unquote. It's astounding. He's also in, I just saw this, he's also in Carnosaur 3.
Good.
Oh, no.
So I've got that to look forward to. More great acting from a guy who makes the star of Deadbeat by Dawn look like the super suave put together guy from the Dos Equis commercial by comparison. Here's the thing. The good. I'm not sure. This one was a doozy. Although it did make me want to watch Aliens later on, and I'll probably enjoy that. The acting here is something. It is like Witchcraft 15 level acting.
Oh, that's deep.
No joke. This is like a Hall of Fame bad movie for me. This one, of all the movies that Bill has made me watch, this is top 10 bad. But like, it's kind of exquisite in its badness. Like it's on that list of like, it's bad, but these are the ones you should watch kind of thing. Carnosaur 2 is going to get, I guess a C- with a big shrug. Like, I enjoyed it on the what the fuck am I watching level. I'm pretty numb to it at this point, so I have no problem being back next week with Carnosaur 3. Fuck it, why not? Until then, be good, everyone.
Thank you very much, Joe. Man. Good times. Good times.
Yeah.
I've never seen Carnosaur 3. I only saw the first two. So we'll see how that goes for him.
Yeah, that should be interesting.
Speaking of how it goes, let's see what Scott's up to this week.
All right.
So now number 3, favorites.
Oh no. What did I do wrong on my list here?
I can't imagine.
So I'm crossing them off as we do them, right?
Yep.
So I just did a really shitty one. So 6. No, so what did we start with? We started with the worst, right?
Started with worst. So now
I did Story of a Junkie. So now we're on number 4, favorite.
Correct.
Got it.
No, we're at 3 favorites.
No, because I didn't cross out my number 4.
Okay, you're right. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Season 17 begins the way that season 16 ended, with massive incompetence. Welcome back to Outside the Cinema.
What a dick.
Yeah. He's not wrong. Well, the massive part. This is minor.
What?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah. With Reverend Scott.
But hey, Bart, could you keep it down? He's asleep on the couch.
Hey there, Bill and Chris. My name is...
His name is Go Fuck Yourself.
That's a great
Because
name.
when I see him, that's what I want to say. It's like when I see
perfect
him.
name for him.
Sorry to disappoint you, but I'm sticking with the name Reverend Scott. And here we are in the first week of a new season of the show. Last week, we took a look back at the past year of Outside the Cinema.
Heroin, drug use in general was definitely a huge problem then, and it is all the time.
I think that's obvious, but I was mainly excited to see how the movies stacked up. Things like The Substance and A Violent Nature or Terrifier 3.
Right, yeah, we know. I loved The Substance. I loved In a Violent Nature. Like, we know. We don't need to talk about it again.
Yeah. People know
Chris doesn't
that
need
I've
to talk about
watched
Terrifier 3 anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, shit. At least we got to hear about Chris's worst movie of the year.
Oh, shit, I forgot the actual worst movie I watched all year. I just remembered it. Anyway, go ahead.
That's not true. I know what your number 1 is, so I know that that's not true. You didn't
Yeah, but
forget it.
you know I forgot one on this list. And I just forgot what it was. Wait, nope.
I'll help you out here, Chris. It was Dead Hot, Season of the Witch.
That movie hurt me in ways I don't want to talk about. It made me almost give up on movies forever.
One of the best bad movie reviews since, I don't know, Nail Gun Massacre.
Didn't we make Scott watch it too?
Probably.
Like, this is the worst thing I've ever seen, Scott. You gotta watch it.
Actually, no, that movie was Trap. If you'd like to revisit my masterful review of Trap, that's on episode 869. Nice. Bill's worst movie of the year was definitely not on Chris's list.
It's just never something that anyone is gonna be like, hey, you ever seen The Sin Turn?
I mean, I will now.
But enough dwelling on the past, we're all about the future here on Holy Shit, most specifically, the future of horror. There's a new killer in town, guys. Go back to camp, Jason. It ends tonight, Michael. In your dreams, Freddy. Go to hell, Pinhead. You don't measure up, Chucky. You're a joke, Art, because here comes Heart Eyes.
Hey, come here. Look how stupid this is.
That's right. I went to the old AMC theater where I was 1/10 of the occupants in the seats and watched Heart Eyes. Tagline, Romance is Dead. I was greeted at the door with a whole sheet of real Valentines made for the movie that I can take home and scare my child with. So I appreciated that.
For sure. Yeah, no, very, very good. I enjoyed the shit out of that.
So allow me to now go look up this movie's wiki so I can remember what the fuck it was about. Oh yeah, over the past few years, a killer with a leatherish looking mask that has two massive heart eyes that glow red sometimes so he can see in the dark, cleverly named Heart Eyes, has been killing random couples in different cities on Valentine's Day. How creative. Detective Hobbs and Shaw were on the case. Yes, that's their real names in the movie, and they even joke about it once.
I feel like I hate this.
Besides a pile of dead bodies, they find a ring with the initials JS engraved on it. Fast forward to next February in Seattle, we meet our main girl, Allie, played by Olivia Holt. You might remember her from the movie Totally Killer. She's supposed to be coming up with some good advertising ideas for the jewelry company she's working for, but she's not cutting it for her boss. So the boss brings in famous marketing guru Jay Simmons, played by some model-looking dude named Mason Gooding.
And the guy is a fucking dick. And he's arrogant and he thinks he's better and smarter than everybody.
At least you assume that's how he's going to be when you meet him, but, you know, he kind of seems like he's going to be an okay dude. But, his initials are JS. I'm sure that's just a coincidence though, right? Anywho, Allie and Jay are instructed to go have a work dinner, discuss this project, and get their working relationship a little bit better on track. Hopefully they can come up with a solution together. Long story short, they have chemistry, they've had a few drinks, and they have some genuinely witty and sometimes funny banter between the two of them. So much so that they continue talking outside the restaurant after dinner, and they share what some might call a very passionate kiss.
I would imagine a small nuclear explosion.
Yep.
And that just so happens to be when Heart Eyes strolls up, intent on killing them for, mistaking them as a couple. And thus, we have a movie now. A fake couple saying funny dialogue, detectives trying to solve the case, and a Heart Eyes killer chasing after them, probably thinking to him or herself,
I fucking hate it, because I hate those people.
So a few good things I'll mention. Much like Scream, which I assume was a major influence on this film, there's some pretty entertaining dialogue between that couple. It's often quite funny. When the killer is on screen, they're intimidating enough and the kills are quite flashy and bloody. They don't hold much back in this. It's shot well, the special effects are done well, the acting is good, lighting's good, even the music's well done. You can tell there was some actual real money behind this. Too bad it didn't make any money. But here's the downsides. This is a horror movie. At least I think so. At least it wants to be. But the time the killer is actually on screen murdering people rivals the screen time of classic Godzilla. I swear there's like a 40-minute chunk in the center of this film that has like no killing at all. Like, come on, that's the best part. At least sprinkle one or two in here or there.
We all have the opportunity to murder people, especially
Very
like every
true.
day you get in a car, right?
And during that kind of long, drawn-out center section, some of it being in a police station and such, it just feels like it does nothing for the plot.
This movie is
Okay.
so filled out with padding.
At least the characters seem to make mostly logical decisions during this movie. At least nothing that would inherently piss off Bill.
Like, nobody would do that.
Right.
No
That's the
human would
biggest
do
problem.
what this guy just, and I don't remember exactly, I just remember that being the thing that drove me nuts, was just like, so many movies you've seen, just you're making decisions that don't make any sense.
Plus, there's a few red herrings, some misdirection, and some other Scream villain tropes that I won't specify, but you'll recognize them when you see them in the end.
I appreciate what they were trying to do.
At the end of the day, Heart Eyes won't leave you saying,
That was a turd of a movie.
I don't even know if it'll make you say to yourself,
I think that I really liked that.
Yeah.
but I'm not entirely sure.
I feel like the director made all the parts he wanted to make, then realized the movie was just way too short, so he had to stretch this bastard out to over 90 minutes.
Sometimes you're just not good at it. You don't understand pacing or structure or any of that, and you just want to do the fun parts.
Overall, I only recommend Hard Eyes if you're really dying to see a Valentine's Day horror movie marathon and you need another film to add to My Bloody Valentine, The Loved Ones, and Warm Bodies or something. Then I guess you can throw this in maybe. But overall, I only give it like a C+ at best. Well, that's plenty of holy shit for this week. You can
I'd
wake
say.
up now, Chris.
I'm back. Oh,
All right, thanks for coming.
What was your favorite part this week?
I know that I hated this, and I can't remember the specifics, but I know that I hated it.
Oh, I'm sure you certainly got more than you bargained for.
I didn't get any enjoyment out of it. It was not entertaining.
Understandable.
Oh, please, don't act like you didn't learn something from this.
What did we learn from that?
Yeah.
Nothing. It's just people complaining about other stuff.
Exactly. So until the next complaining session, peace and love, guys. Outside the Cinema, a podcast you'll never forget as much as you'd like to.
They there was incest, right? Is that what we were going with this one? Incest and all kinds of shit?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, if you're one of our Patreon members or you would like to become one of our Patreon members at patreon.com/outside the cinema, send us a couple of films to cover. We're going to try to focus on doing the Patreon stuff for the next couple weeks or next few weeks, however many we get. So you can send them on the Patreon. Just reply to the messages there, or you can email us at outsidethecinema@gmail.com, or you can DM me at Instagram at OTCBill. And Chris's is at Cthulhu. So those are the places to reach out. Cool, yeah. Off and running. Thank you again to Ollie for sending films for this week.
Yeah, that was good.
With that said, it's time to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.